All right, I think I'm live. Make sure here. If you are here, let me know in the chat. Let's see here. See if I can find myself. The fun of going from Zoom into Facebook is it's a little bit harder to find yourself. Okay, good. Yes, this is excellent. I want to be able to see your comments. So let's make sure I have sound. Yes, this is excellent. All right, I got sound, I've got the video. Yes, let me know in the chat when you arrive that you're here. And you can also post questions. Let's start with a hell yeah, sister, if you get here. All right, awesome, awesome. Cool, very cool. Happy to be live. All right, let's jump into it. So if you don't know me, my name is Neve and I am a creatrix. I stand for women being physically, emotionally, and spiritually free. You probably know this, my Facebook page is Free Spirit Creatrix. That is like full feminine embodiment and freedom, right? So I stand for women releasing the patriarchal shame, fear, and guilt of who you are. I stand for you, women, owning our power, our mystic and psychic abilities. So I offer a cosmic feminine activation and mentorship for women in sex, spirit, and self-care, for empowered relationships, sacred sexuality, and to self-actualize to become a confident, powerful, thriving woman who loves herself and her life and manifests her dreams. So right now, what I see in my lens, right? So we all have these like lenses where what our reality, especially like in social media, is what we see, like who we're following. So I am following tons of powerful, amazing women. So what I see is women stepping into their power, owning their voice, and having a spiritual remembering. And it's fucking amazing. I love it. I love seeing that. Let me just pull up this other window real quick. Okay, good. Yeah, just want to be able to see any comments. Okay. So yeah, it's really incredible. It feels so healing for me when I see other women super empowered and awesome, owning their voice. It gets me excited and inspired to do the same. And hopefully that is what I am able to do for you. So if I were to define spiritual remembering, it's the shift that happens as we heal. I like to think of it as the 5D ascension version of what we used to call healing. So once you revive and activate your essence and your spirit, things start shifting then at the speed of light. You can heal instantly and step into your power in any moment. So then you're really remembering who you are. And it's a deep spiritual remembering of oneness, of the cosmic feminine, of the womb, of creation, it's magical. It's a magical remembering of your own power, of your own ability to create and manifest, of your ability to step into the divine awakened goddess, lovely woman that you already are. So once we move out of a contraction or victim mindset of everything happening to me and shift into creating and co-creating this reality, we have radical responsibility, then we can remember. And that radical responsibility part is part of the growth journey, right? That's part of the transformation, is taking ownership instead of blaming others. So for me, like I used to blame others for my situation or for what was happening to me. I used to judge others. I didn't see powerful women as inspiring. I was comparing myself with them, right? And I was in a relationship where I was unhappy, and I remember asking myself, like, why doesn't my partner XYZ? Like, why doesn't he tell me that he loves me, like out loud, like with his words? Why doesn't he call me back? Why won't he tell me where he is and what he's doing, who he's with? Why does he just drop off and I'm hanging here starting to get stressed and anxious? I would literally have panic attacks. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I think there's a spectrum of panic attacks. Okay. So, there's different intensities to panic and to stress and anxiety. But for me, I would get overwhelmed with my life and cry. I would cry a lot. And the world would seem like it was collapsing on me, completely overwhelming. So I was scared. I felt like I was out of control. My mind was overpowering me. And if you've ever had a lot of stress or anxiety, you know what this feels like. Even if you don't have that, or you're not necessarily someone that identifies with anxiety or stress, we all get stuck in our head, right? Yoga, like I'm running a retreat in like 2 weeks, and it's all about the koshas. It's all about these 5 different layers of us. And the mind is one, like the mind emotional layer or sheath is just one. And we get stuck there and we like live our whole life in our mind, and it doesn't help taking in media all the time or whatever. So I was definitely in that space where my mind was running things. I was way too much in my head. I was overthinking all the time. And I felt helpless and I felt alone. And in this relationship that I was in, that was codependent and, really toxic for me, because this person didn't see me as powerful or acknowledge any of my gifts or power or anything. And it was a codependent relationship. And I got into that relationship because I felt like I was the black sheep in my family. I felt like I was the outcast. I was too sexual. I was too sexy. I was a vixen. And I felt like I was evil. I literally felt like I was not enough. And I was evil. I wasn't able to be like the good Christian girl that my parents wanted me to be, or like whoever was in my life, what I felt like everyone else wanted me to be. I wasn't her. I couldn't be her, and I'll never be her. And I went into this space of feeling, like the black sheep, like this evil outcast alien person in my paradigm, and the people that the world that I was in. And it it broke me. Like, I love people and I love connecting, and to feel like I was evil and bad, I was bad. I think some of my deepest pain comes from that time where I felt like I was a bad person because I couldn't follow the rules or fit into what others' expectations of me were. And I really got sick of it. I mean, I felt bad for years. I don't even know how many years, if I counted. It was a lot of time of feeling stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, trying to please other people, people pleasing for sure, trying to live up to other people's standards of who I should be. And that's bullshit. And I really did. I got sick of it. And I was teaching yoga at the time. I was like a new yoga teacher. Let me just check the chat really quick. I hope you guys are hearing me.
Sure.
Okay. Whoops. There we go. Oh, okay. Hi. Thanks for commenting. I love you. Hi, Serena. I don't know who else is here. But yeah, I really got sick of it. And I was just like, okay, I'm teaching yoga. I'm stepping into this. I was stepping into leadership, right? I was holding this spiritual space for my yoga students. And I was really taught in a more traditional yoga way. So like they were like, that was how we viewed them, as our students. It wasn't like our friends, or it wasn't just a workout. It was like a spiritual nurturing of whoever was coming to your classes. And I taught progressively. So I had relationships. I really owned that role. But then I would go home with this toxic relationship and feel like nothing. And then my students would be like, well, you're so loving and you're so wonderful. And there was like this disconnect. And it was like, it was suffocating and contracting to my energy. I was like, oh my God, like, how can I seem like I feel like I'm this really awesome leader, and then at home I'm not being acknowledged, and I'm being put into a like little box, and like, you should be the housewife and take care of the babies and like be a good Christian woman and don't like be too loud or be too sexy or be too beautiful or own your voice or like and then I was teaching yoga and I had to own my voice. Like I had to speak my truth. And I have a lot of integrity. I am a huge fan of integrity. And so there was no way that I could teach yoga and not like love and speak my truth and channel. Like that was when I realized that I could channel, because I was like, wow, where did that pose come from? Like, where did that word come from? Right. And I was able to open up in this way, but it was this huge disconnect. So I started to explore Ayurveda. And I remember one day I prayed and I was just like, okay, God, I know that you love me. Like, I know you love me. I know that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm a powerful leader. And I'm done. I'm done with being a victim. I'm done with this toxic relationship. I'm done with feeling like I'm a black sheep. So it's just like, whew, yeah. It was a powerful reclamation in that prayer and a release. I was like, I'm no. And the next day, I woke up out of my own fog of unconsciousness. And you probably think about this while you're listening. Think about this. You probably had a moment like this where it was like all of a sudden the lights came on, all of a sudden the fog like lifted. And I was like, WTF, like, why am I in a relationship with this person who's hurting me? I have to go. Like, this is the only part of my life that's really like, I'm expanding over here with my yoga and my teaching and my studio. And over here, I'm like, oh, so it was just like, I woke up from the fog. All of a sudden I was aware of my patterns and I started taking responsibility for the situation I was in and for the choices I made and why I had made them. Ah, man, I knew I had to. It was really like a fuck moment. It's just like, fuck. Like, okay, I have to leave. I have to leave this toxic relationship and I have to start to change the way that I treat myself. I knew I had to change. I knew I needed to love myself on a deeper level in order to shift my life into a life that I loved and to have a partner that loved and honored and respected me. Like, I knew I needed to change, because that in that time frame, I realized, okay, I created this. I created this by running from my pain. And now that I see it, I'm going to go into it and heal and transform. So that kind of brings me to like the tips for this. Like, you want to get to spiritual remembering, like moving from healing to remembering how powerful you are and how amazing, I think. And if you're just in an anxious state anytime, these tips will help you. So like the first thing is a perspective shift, a mindset shift. So especially if you're anxious or contracted, like everything in your world is huge and like you're basically an ant on a rock spinning through space. So that perspective shift helps you it helps calm the anxiety, it helps calm the mind when you think about how big the universe is and how expansive it is. So there's that. I think that's tip number one as far as how to release anxiety or stress or this contracted state. The second thing is take action. Like, just say 3, 2, 1, go. And that will shift the energy. So you can shift the energy by using the body, like do something like 3, 2, 1, do the thing that you know you need to do. Go take a bath, go on a walk, do some exercise, like get into the body. If you can feel the body, that will help calm the mind. That's what the koshas teach, right? These 5 layers. So perspective shift, number 1. Number 2, take action, do something else. Like, don't sit there in overwhelm, take action. And the third thing would be get support, like from someone else, from a friend, a buddy, a coach, a group, a community, a program. Like, get around the people that you want to be more like. Move away from the social situations that are keeping you stuck. from the people that don't believe in you, from the people that don't see your light. Go hang out with the people that do see your light and they love it and they honor and respect it. And I think that this is so important because if we don't take responsibility, like if we don't look at our pain, go into it, heal it, and release, we're going to miss out on our lives. We're going to miss out on the pure potentiality of us. You're going to create more stress, which eventually could become chronic, right? Especially anxiety. Like it's very contracting to all of the energy channels. It can create inflammation. That's no good. Adrenal fatigue, no good. Hormones, your hormones control everything in your body, right? So when you're stressed and anxious, your hormones are like, nope. So there's also your job. Like think about your career or your life, whatever your life work is. Maybe it's being a mom, maybe it's career, whatever. Like that's going to be negatively affected by being contracted or being anxious or stressed out in life, and forgetting your power, right? So I think that humanity's basically been forgetting and now we're remembering, right? So stepping into that. And obviously your relationships will be negatively affected if you're contracted or you're blaming people in your life for your situation. That's no good. It's time to love ourselves. So I've worked with many women, helping them with all things feminine, especially the spiritual journey and loving themselves and stepping into their power of remembering. And the ladies I worked with last year, amazing, transformed into like owning their goddessness. And you see them in this group posting. Some of them are like, Elaine, Wendy, Deborah, like powerful leaders and teachers. And they went on this journey with me of remembering, reclaiming, taking better care of the body, loving yourself, releasing all that I'm not enough bullshit. Everybody has it. No, let that shit go. So right now, I'd love to do just a short activation. Let me double check the comments here. Okay, cool. I see you're still here. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I know Serena's here. Let's see, 2 new comments. So I have to click it. Okay. All right, I don't see any questions. So I'd like to invite you to do just a quick activation with me now for your spiritual remembering, so that you're going to be remembering by doing this activation and calling in. So if you want, you can close your eyes. What do you want? What do you deeply desire? What is your soul longing? For yourself personally, think about that, and for the planet right now. Yeah, close your eyes, feel it happening now. So whatever it is, if it's a juicy relationship, right? You can envision that. If it's a nicer home, a better job, a more aligned job, more self-love, less anxiety, whatever it is. It's so important to know what you want, what your soul needs and wants and desires. We get so stuck in the past and thinking about what we should have, shouldn't done, or too far in the future, right? So in this remembering of, you are the creatrix, you are the manifester, and you can call that reality and magnetize it towards yourself now. So what is it? Be really clear. Write it down, write it in the chat if you're willing to share. I see Serena's in here, so maybe like divine souls to work with, right? And yeah, the power is within you, right? That's part of the remembering. And whenever you don't believe it, whenever there's like negativity or lack of clarity, or like, just Reiki, 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 I release, I release, I release. Let that shit go. Take a shower, release, let it roll down the drain, and own that future reality that you're calling in. Our brain, when it's on autopilot, is replaying the past past thoughts, past patterns, past BS. So it's really helpful. Like I have right now all over my house, sticky notes to the things that I'm calling in, like to my future, to what I'm magnetizing towards me. And it's happening. And it's amazing. Like the first time I did this was 5 years ago in the house with the toxic dude. Wait, that was like 7 years ago. And it was, I love myself. I love you, Neve, because you're beautiful. I love you because whatever, you are enough, right? Those are the sticky notes. Now the sticky notes are different, right? But it works. I share that because it works. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit activated by this future vision of you. I trust you are. So these are radical shifts and they take time. It takes time to become an awakened goddess. Like it takes time, a little bit of healing to get to the remembering, I think, although things are happening at the speed of light now, you could probably just remember in this moment. I think though, it is really helpful to have a group in a safe, nurturing space to really process. You know, most of us have mother wounds, father wounds, sister wounds, brother wounds. Like we have all these things from our past that need to come up and heal. Like I shared earlier, you have to go into the pain in order to release it and free yourself. Right. And once you do that, then really anxiety will just kind of start to shift. It'll start to kind of float away. I used to be so anxious, so ungrounded. It's kind of amazing how going into my pain, taking ownership has shifted it. So for someone, if you're someone that would like to make these types of shifts and want that support, want the accountability, you want to anchor your learnings in a container or a vortex of energy, if you're ready to get out of your own way, then you can join me. I have a mentorship, the Awakened Goddess, which is going on right now. And it will help you if you have anxiety, if you have sexual wounds, if you have relationship things. Like it is a spiritual journey that I've crafted and then basically gotten feedback from clients and then made better and then got more feedback and made better. So over the years, it's just like this really potent, powerful, transformational journey that I would be honored for you to go on. So if you're interested in that, you can send me a message, you can DM me. I'll also post the link to have a heart-to-heart with me. I love having heart-to-heart conversations. I had an amazing one yesterday with a beautiful lady, and I'm so excited for us to journey together. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything that I shared. It is time. Now's the time, right? One thing we all know, we're going to die. So don't waste your time. Time is so important. And when you can be with someone who's a couple steps ahead of you on the journey, it fast tracks you into that. Right? That's what's happening with me right now in my mentor. I'm like, whoa, I'm getting pushed forward so much because I've invested in myself and in her, and now she's overflowing it back to me, right? And then I can do that with you and it can overflow back, right? So this is beautiful. So anyways, yeah, let me know. Hopefully this really served you. I trust that it did touch your heart. And remember, like those 3 tips: perspective shift, action, and then getting support. So important. All right, let me make sure there's no questions. I don't think so. Awesome. Oh, I see my hair is kind of flat. Oh, well. All right, I love you so much. Let me know if there's anything that you would specifically like me to do a masterclass on, because I would be so honored. I'm here to serve and love on you all and inspire you to own your power. Fucking step into it. Ugh, it feels so good. All right. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Blessings. Wednesday blessings. That was for you, Serena. Ah.